Hello, fellow investor. Thanks for stopping by. I want to welcome you to this channel. In this video, we look at the earnings expectations for Alphabet as they report second quarter earnings on Wednesday, July 23rd after the market close. We'll cover several topics to see how Alphabet is trading going into the earnings and help set our expectations moving forward. We review the current price chart and trend charts along with some key valuation, growth, and profitability metrics from Seeking Alpha and Fast Graphs. I'll also provide an update on my Alphabet portfolio holdings and performance. Let's get started. I first entered a position in Alphabet on May the 9th and have added additional shares 4 times over that period. My average price per share is 166.63. I've had a gain of about 11.6% so far. Google does pay dividends, and I haven't received it yet, but will receive $8.40 on my current holdings when they do pay out, for a total return of $780 so far. So there's been 5 winning trades and no losing trades so far for a total gain of $780 with a 100% win rate. In the previous quarter, Alphabet reported revenue of $90.23 billion, beating revenue estimates by $1.08 billion. Alphabet reported earnings of $2.81 per share, beating estimates by 80 cents per share. For this quarter, the revenue estimate is $93.92 billion, with earnings of $2.18 per share. Over the last 90 days, 21 analysts raised estimates and 15 analysts lowered estimates. Alphabet meets or beats analysts' one-year forward estimates 82% of the time. Alphabet is showing positive relative strength going into the earnings. The options market is pricing an implied move of plus or minus 6.4%. The Google one-year daily price chart shows that Google has been pretty flat over the past year. On April the 7th, with the tariff announcements, it did reach a recent low of $142 per share. I entered into Google on May the 9th, which was this candle right here, so about $155. I've added to Google 4 times since, so my average cost is now sitting about $166. Google is trading above its 20-day moving average, the 200-day moving average, and the 50-day moving average, which are all rising at this time. It is pretty much riding its 5-day simple moving average as well. The RSI is positive, currently sitting at 66.78. The PPO is positive with the short term above the longer term average, so we have strong momentum at the moment. The momentum and the relative strength are pretty much in line with the S&P 500. The accumulation over the past year has been pretty flat. Then it took a big drop here in end of June, and since that time we've seen a pretty good increase in the accumulation, and the money flow is currently positive. Google has underperformed the S&P 500 over the past year by negative 0.821%. It is underperforming the communications sector at 17.02%. It is also underperforming its industry group by 14.07%, and the industry group is outperforming the S&P 500 by 6.82%. So overall, Google is showing positive relative strength going into the earnings along with positive momentum. The Google 5-year weekly chart does show that Google has moved back into positive territory as far as its longer term averages, trading above those longer term averages. It has also done so in the medium term averages since about the beginning of June or so, and the short term averages are also positive at this moment, trading above its short term averages. So overall, it looks to be a positive trend for Google. Looking at the valuation growth and profitability metrics from Seeking Alpha, Google has a forward PE of 19.29 times compared to the sector at 13.71 times. The expected EPS growth rate for the next year is 20.85% for Google compared to the sector at 11.04%. And the expected revenue growth is 11.81% for Google compared to the sector at 3.39%. For profitability, we can see Google has a net margin of 30.86% compared to the sector at 4.01%. Now we'll take a look at Alphabet in fast graphs. We can see that Alphabet is trading at a blended PE of 20.81 times. They have an EPS yield of 4.81% and a dividend yield of 0.44%. Over this 13-year period, Alphabet has had an adjusted operating earnings growth rate of 18.45%. FastGraphs calculates their fair value ratio at 18.45 times, and their normal PE ratio is 24.68 times. Over this 13-year period, Alphabet has tended to trade at its market valuation of 24.68 times. They did have a dip below that in 2021 through part of 2022. Then they resumed trading at their normal PE. Then in the last 6 months, they've actually traded down to below their fair value at least 2 or 3 times. I entered into Google on May 9th when it was trading right at its fair value. If we look at the EPS over this 13-year period, we can see that they've had growth in every year, with the exception of 2022, where they had a decline of 19%. But other than that, it's been pretty much double-digit growth. Analysts are expecting only 5% growth in 2026 and then resume to double-digit growth in 2027. If we look at the expectations for Google from now until the end of 2026 from a fair value perspective, we're only looking at a 1.6% growth rate. If they can return back to their normal valuation, then we can expect a 35.65% total rate of return over the next 18 months or so. That wraps up my review of Alphabet as we near the earnings release. Let me know in the comments what you think about this company, and let me know if you hold a position in Alphabet. If you find these earnings previews helpful, I would appreciate you subscribing to the channel so you are alerted to future videos as they get posted. I would also be grateful if you like the video to help support this channel. I wish you the best in your investment journey, and remember to trade well.